Hello and welcome to another edition or episode of My Southern Exposure. Joseph Manuel Lovello here in beautiful, sunny Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Today's date is November 16th, 2020. We have a very special show lined up for you and a lot of things to discuss personally and professionally. So I'm just trying to calm my hair down a little bit because it looked like it was going to fly away. And if I end up with a little curl, I can't fix that during the show. So you're going to have to see all my wet hair dry up and frizz up, and it'll probably turn into an afro by the end of the show. So what I want to do is say thank you to all of our, goodness gracious, 72,000 plus viewers all across the world apparently now. I didn't realize that, but people are watching our little show. And thank you. Thank you very much. Myself, I greatly appreciate that you entertain us, entertaining you in your own home. We got a lot of serious things to talk about. We have some fun things to discuss. We have some thought-provoking things also as well, like Raji, my beautiful co-host down there in the corner of the screen, will probably bring up on her own. I'm kind of curious to see what she says. So welcome once again. Raji, how has your week been so far?
Well, so far my week's been pretty good. Every day, well, I don't want to say every day, but life, from one moment to the next, we have our little challenges. And so this weekend, my car wasn't starting. I was like, oh crap. I have to wait till Monday. It's going to probably be an arm and a leg. What's wrong? And AAA came out this morning and it was just my battery. Thank God. So anyway, batteries are expensive too, but at least it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. And because I was thinking my mind was racing. I was like, oh, it must be the starter, it must be the alternator. And then, I have I think we've all had this. I got that pimple or that little pimple that won't burst under my tip, and it's in the weirdest spot. Oh my God. And it is so irritating. And I'm trying to get this. I've been putting hot compresses on it. I've been doing all kinds of things. And then on top of that, my stove isn't working. So, like in the scope of things, this is just all like, they say don't sweat the small stuff. But what happens is when things happen one after the other, it starts to get like a little overwhelming. And then you're like, oh shit, like, oh. And so yesterday, I just was like, okay, it is what it is. Breathe. And let's just take it one moment at a time. So I am here. I'm ready to run my mouth. I do a lot of really interesting things with my mouth. Um, but that's another show, another different type of show. No, but I'm ready to talk about, all these juicy topics. And I want to welcome everyone back to another Southern Exposure.
Oh my, you're
What,
such a naughty girl.
well,
You're such a naughty girl and you can't help it, and everyone loves you for it.
oh,
Um,
thank you, darling. Thank you.
we have a lot to talk about, and the first thing that I want to do is remind people, if you want to communicate with Raji at mysouthernexposure.site, the one dancing in the corner. That's her right there, the beautiful girl that I'm fingering. Not fingering, but pointing to. That just didn't sound right saying fingering. And then if you want to get a hold of me, it's Joseph at mysouthernexposure.site also as well. There's so many things for us to talk about. It's almost ridiculous. Politics, religion, sports, entertainment, unfortunately, COVID, and also the most important thing, I think, personally, for myself and Raji, as well as everybody else in the LGBTQ community, Biden and Harris pretty much putting the final coffin nail in with 306 electoral votes. So
306?
I think it's 306. So
Yeah.
let me just put it out there. So the orange-faced monster lost to Hillary Clinton 4 years ago with a 4 million popular vote loss. So first, he lost. Secondarily, he lost to a strong woman. So that's 2 of those nails in that coffin. Then last year got impeached. That is a permanent impeachment, even though it wasn't finalized, but the House impeached. So that's the 3rd nail in the coffin. Let's move forward to this year, the best year on the planet for people that are evil. Because the people that are evil, they just go away. Kind of like a hemorrhoid if you put ointment on it. So lost to, oh, who is that? Joe Biden and Kamala Harris with more than 5 million votes for the popular vote. And he got his ass handed to him on a plastic plate, because I think that's all that they can actually afford at this point. There's not very much money that's ever been in that family because they've always lived off of everybody else for their entire lives. So basically, we've had 4 years of public housing that everybody's been paying for the entire orange-faced monster family. And after 437 trips to go play golf and $114 million, I think it might be necessary to actually file a lawsuit on the books for the people of the United States that $114 million should be paid, because he probably already made that off of his disgusting properties. So that's pretty much all that. But the best part is he lost to 2 strong women twice. Kamala and Hillary. You got 2 different races. Guess what? Little teeny tiny Donnie. I guess apparently you can't bring it up. What do you got to say, Raji?
Oh my God, so much to say. Okay, so I would have hoped, and I think we all have ego, like on some level, we all have ego. And if I was him, I probably would have, and especially with the ego that he has, I know I would have been like, oh, fuck, like hating this, absolutely hating it. But what I like, if, the way I am, I would have been thinking, okay, how can I gracefully like move on out of this and pave maybe some, you know, uh, I would say some try to pave a positive path for me to get out of the mess that I have myself in. But I don't think his ego allows him to do that. And they're saying that like no other president has done this, where you're refusing to concede. He hasn't even like uh, how like the president starts briefing the president elect on things that are going on, and so that when they get inaugurated and they take office, they have a good footing as to what's going on. That's not happening now. I don't know if he's just barking, right now, like because he did say something over the weekend during a press conference that alluded to him starting to possibly maybe face the fact that he lost. He said something like, well, for whatever administration in the future it might be or could be, who knows, the future will tell. I'm not saying what he said word for word, but that was the gist of it. And so I don't know, maybe he's just barking and having a little tantrum right now, and in a few weeks he'll get with the program, who knows. But it's a shame because his ego, honey, he just can't, I don't think he will be able to bow out gracefully. I don't think it's going to happen. um, Now, it's interesting how when he won last election, he won with the same amount of electoral votes, 306. And so, or 304, sorry, 304. So, that's interesting. And then his supporters, let me tell you, a lot of them are like believing, his claims of like voter fraud. And from what I understand, all of the court um, lawsuits that he's filed have been dismissed. They're not finding anything credible about it. So we'll see how it plays out. But what's really interesting to me, when Biden and Kamala were, announced the winners, I was so happy, and I was like, texting some of my friends and family, and some of the people of color, the reaction is, oh well, whether it's Biden or Trump, it's really the same old thing. And I was like, like, in other words, like, is the system going to really change? And I'm not going to say who said this, but it's someone that's in my family. And they said something like, it's not going to change the systematic racism that is existing. And this Biden Kamala Harris thing is an illusion. It's not really progressiveness. And my response to him was, I said, don't isn't shouldn't we at least like embrace like the little steps that we're taking forward? I said, maybe it's not going to change things drastically, but I mean, the fact that she will be the first woman of color, Asian and Black person to be vice president, isn't that like a step? So his response to me was, you see what they did when Obama became president. And I mean, he had a valid point, because, these people wanted to have a damn tantrum. It was like all the presidents in this country before him have been white. We get one president of color, and some people want to lose their mind over it. It was like, really? Like, so I just, I brought up the fact that, like, do we just throw our hands up in the air, or don't we just, isn't it better to just try and move forward with faith and hope, like the ancestors did, like Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass, and the many unnamed, unsung heroes that had nothing, no resources at all, but they had faith and they had hope for a better tomorrow. And these are slaves that basically were barefoot and walked hundreds and hundreds of miles through the woods to escape to freedom. These people didn't even have fucking shoes, and they still had the faith and the hope to try to move forward. So, I was back and forth with this person and a few others too. And then after a certain point, it's like you just get exhausted. It's like, why even, I said my points, I made my points. And if they want to be that way and not, I guess, look at the glass half empty instead of, I should say half full instead of half empty. I guess that's their choice. But it's quite depressing, honestly. Because I was like so happy. And then when you hear these people's feedback, it's like, well, damn. Like, anyway, I know I've gone on so many tangents, but that's what's on my mind with this whole political thing. And personally, I think it's a step in the right direction. And I'd rather have a president that's invoking peace and unity, even if it's bullshit, even if it's just all talk, than someone that's spewing all this rhetoric and lending license to all these hateful people around the country. So let's just say Biden, it's a bunch of crock, right? But the fact that he stands up there and he says unity and let's come together, and isn't that a better message to hear? Isn't that like then someone standing up there and they're telling the white supremacy groups to stand by with your guns, wait for your orders. Come on. Anyway.
Well, I want to address several of those things that you just brought up because, first of all, I think that we're in a transition. We're going through a transformation or an evolutionary process with politics. And I don't know that anything's going to actually work out the way that you and I want them to while we're still alive. But at least it is a necessary step moving forward. And no one has the right to undermine that for any reason. We have never had as many people vote in written history as we did this election time period. We have never had a president who has had so much service, education, experience, and also shift the focus from the president to the vice president, who just happens to be a woman of color. So any person of any shade of color who tries to overthink things and rationalize that what that progress. So first we got Obama. Great. It took a year of white supremacy. And then now we got Kamala. So now we have two. So now the American public and the entire planet understand that we can have a person of color as a president and a vice president who can be a person of color. That's a woman. The ultimate sacrifice, or I should say, not sacrifice because it's not the word, the ultimate evolution, change, necessary functions to make the planet better is a person of color that's a female that is in charge of the United States. Personally, for me. And it could be a trans person. It could be someone who's lesbian, someone who's gay, someone who's bi, someone who's trans, someone who's straight. But I mean, we've been sitting by. You and me and a lot of other millions of people out there who watch our show have been standing by our entire lives, waiting to be acknowledged. So in that regard, I think that what has happened so far is a wonderful thing. And to look at it on the negative side, my suggestion is if someone's going to look at something half empty, just break that glass. Get a new one. Make yours half full. Let that person with their half empty glass, just accidentally push it to the side. And if it falls off the table, oh well. And the people with the glass that's half full, let's focus on that. And to be honest, I also think that from this point moving forward, I'm not going to bring up or talk about the orange face monster because it just doesn't deserve any attention. We need to focus on the good. We need to focus on Biden. We need to focus on Harris. We need to focus on all the good that people do every single day. It's like yourself, myself, so many other people out there. There's several brand new things that organizations and places where people can donate money that I saw on the news earlier today to help with people who are, what is it called, hospital workers. There's a whole fund that they have started to develop. So people who died working to try to help save us, those families lost their family member. It's 1,439, I think, if I remember correctly. I'm not so good since I fell off of the roof. Sometimes my memory works really good and sometimes it doesn't. Like, I'll figure it out. I have to write things down a little bit more than I did before, and I know I'll be okay. But I can acknowledge the fact that this last time that I got this concussion, it's a little bit more tricky after you have 3 of them and you get a 4th one. So the fact is that I believe that we can move in a positive direction if we focus on Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and we just push away all the other stuff, because it's just stuff. It's been a whole bunch of lip smacking, like they're chewing a piece of juicy fruit gum for the last 6 years. Actually, to be honest with you, personally, I think that it's been lip smacking ever since they stole all the inventions from Tesla, from Uncle Donnie's great general advisor to the United States government back when Tesla was alive. So that person stole important data and inventions from my perspective, Tesla. I personally believe that he may have been a gay man. I don't have anything to substantiate that, but that's how I feel. When I look at him, when I hear the stories about him, I really truly believe that that's what he was. And that family, I'm not going to even say the color of their skin currently, but that family just happened to be in a position of power and mysteriously decided to take some of those inventions. And mysteriously, now, while one of those evil spawn children is in a position of power, look at the Tesla stock. It's going through the roof. I don't think that's accidental. 5 years ago, people weren't buying Tesla. That's only happened within the last 4 years. So Nicholas Tesla, I can see you typing in the corner down there to pull it up so you can confirm what I'm saying.
No, I believe you, but it's just when you hear this crap, you're like, oh my God, all the shit that goes on. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, it's important for people at home to be able to just, Google or Netscape or whatever. You don't have to go to Fox News. You don't have to go to CNN. You don't have to go to ABC, NBC, CBS. Actually, I think that PBS and also NPR are the best places to go to get unbiased reports about what's happening in the world. So, but that's my perspective with one of your little tangents. The other little tangent that you had, which is a good one, we can address later, but I want to try to lighten the mood for a little bit and tell people about a entertaining show I talked with you about earlier before, Raji, privately. There's actually it's actually three different things. And I want to get your opinion, but the one that I like the most, I should say, is I'm not getting paid to talk about this, just to make that clear. It's just something that I found by accident. It's a series called Westworld, and it's based off of a book from the 1970s that they modified and changed and whatnot. But basically, it's addressing what we're going through right now. It addresses control and power and reality and what's actually going on, and what you have to have hope to be able to think and believe, so then you can achieve something. Or you're forced to do what you're told to do. And Westworld, I think, is a great series to watch personally. I've enjoyed it immensely. I haven't been necessarily binge watching, but with my big booty hurting so much when I sit up, after about 2 hours of me sitting up or standing, I got to go lay down and put a bag of ice under my tuchus. So my tuchus, I'm not Jewish. I'm technically Jewish by insertion. That's a whole other story. Exactly. But Westworld, I think, is a great show to watch, and it actually has current event kind of things that are in there, and it's in the third series. So, but what do you think, Raji, about reality? Do you think that if we believe and say something and write things down and hope and pray and want it to happen, that we can make it happen if enough people believe in the same thing? So just like what happened with before, people believed in the evil. Now there's more of us believing in good. So, but we have to transition from the evil to the good, and it's not going to be something instant. So my question for you is, what do you think about reality? And do you think that if enough of us believe in good, we can make things better?
100%. 100%. The power of thought, the power of like belief and faith, it's powerful. I've seen it in my life with things that I've desired and gotten because of my faith and my desire for it and my belief in it. And you don't have to go far. I mean, you can look at things on so many different levels. When a group of people get together and they believe in a project and they work hard, the project is produced, and oftentimes it manifests. So on a larger scale, I think that transcends to us as a human race having faith and hope and believing in a better future for us, that a future that includes equity, equality, and love of one another despite our differences, unity. Yes, I'm a firm believer in that. I mean, take Harriet Tubman, for instance, as an example. A slave, she was determined to try and get to freedom. She did. And then she believed enough that in the freedom of not only herself, but her family and other people to go back into the South, risking her life to then free other slaves. And I think she did that trip a few times. And I think it was a total of 70 slaves that she freed, but she helped to get to freedom. So, that. Look at Mahatma Gandhi. Look at, Martin Luther King Jr. There's so many people that had a dream, or believed in a greater future or existence, and they worked hard and they rallied along with other people to make that happen. So, I'm a firm believer in that. And I said, it's funny because I said to this family member, I said, listen, if there wasn't any progress, we'd probably be on plantations right now. I might be in the house, but I might be in the house, and knowing the queen I am, I probably would have been doing something with the master so I could get some benefits. I mean, I'm joking, because if you don't laugh, you cry. But what I'm saying is, there has been progress. Maybe not enough. Yes, we have a long way to go, but I mean, we've come a long way, and I think that counts for something. That has to mean something. There's a thing when you can appreciate what you have, and I've seen it with me. When you're able to appreciate and have gratitude for the blessings that you have, believe me, you'll see more come. You'll see more come. Getting out of lack consciousness into prosperity consciousness.
Good Lord. I mean, seriously, you actually brought up another topic that I don't have the information to pull it up right now, but I will find it and upload it later. But I saw a report from 2 or 3 different sources, major sources, and I'll track it down and post it so you can see that it's actually not just me talking out my ass, like some people have before. Everyone knows that I always have information and multiple sources of information all the time. But the fact is, they were talking about a simple thing about consciousness, which is not simple. Actually, it's very complex. They were describing exactly what you were just talking about. That the consciousness that we have is what makes our involvement, connection to our quote unquote reality happen. So the more that you believe that you can't find a job, the more you will not find a job. The more that you believe that you can do anything, the more opportunities you have that come towards you. And it was referring to the fact of consciousness, and that our bodies are made out of, I think, 75% liquid and 33% solid, or something along those lines, and molecules bumping back and forth, and our brains basically being like a nuclear reactor, controlling things, that what you believe in your head, you can actually make happen. Whether you make it happen when you dream, or if you make it happen in reality, those are 2 separate things. And some people have a capability of doing both. Some people can make their manifestation or their belief or their ideals come out there and make things push forward. And I think that we're at that point now, thank God, or whatever God that you believe in. I don't know which one, but thank the gods no matter what your nationality or which religion you believe in, thank the gods in the United States. I believe that we've passed the negative holding us back. Now we can move forward in a direction and continue to make that positive force bigger and better and squelch out, or hopefully, ideally, help save some of those people who thought about negative things before. So that was just like a side topic because of part of what you brought up. I do want to tell people at home about WeGo Cares. It is part of WeGo LLC. People can visit the website, WeGoLLC.com. WeGo Cares for the last 4 years does a food drive for Thanksgiving and also a food drive and toy drive for the kids, and also gifts for adults as well. So if you know anybody in our local area who truly needs food for Thanksgiving or Christmas or toys, they are doing whatever they can to help. And there's donors who are donating things, people who are making cash donations, and you don't have to worry about going somewhere. They will actually bring it to your home. You can sit at home and it will be delivered to you. So their goal for Thanksgiving is to help feed 20 families. So far, 2 of them are already taken care of. So they hope to help at least 18 other families in our immediate community: Fort Lauderdale, Bolton Manors, Oakland Park, Middle River Terrace. Wherever you are, it doesn't make any difference. They will try to help you with whatever your needs are for Thanksgiving. But I want to tell all of our watchers and viewers at home to just go to www.wegolllc.com. That's WeGo. It's WeGolLLC.com. And it's for Thanksgiving and also for Christmas. So just share that knowledge. And they're doing the best they can to help people just like you and me and everybody else out there. But what I want to ask you about next, Raji, is what you got planned for Thanksgiving?
Oh boy. Well, I'll tell you, definitely not planning to be around a whole bunch of people with the way they're saying all of this COVID is spreading here and there. And they said it's happening at like intimate events, like, you know, family events and stuff like that. So I have a friend of mine who has a partner, him and his partner, they're both my friends. They decided, since this whole COVID thing started, they decided that I would be the only one that they would have over. Like, you know, like, because they always like to have company and throw like little get-togethers and stuff. But during this COVID, they haven't had anyone over to the house except me. So for Thanksgiving, they said, you know, they're going to make dinner and it'll just be the 3 of us. So I'll probably go there. Although who knows, things may change between now and then, because I know the numbers are getting crazy. They said in the last week, 1 million more people infected with COVID. So I know my mom usually does Thanksgiving up north in Philly. And this year she's not doing it. And everyone, my sister and niece and nephew and brother-in-law, they're staying home. And yeah, it's going to be I think this holiday is going to look very different than we're all used to. What are you doing, my dear?
Well, part of the reason why I asked is because I'm a little jealous that the boys beat me again.
They beat you to the punch, right?
They beat me to the punch 2 times in a row,
Yeah,
2 years in a row. So you know what that means
I know what that means. You're inviting me to Thanksgiving today for next year.
for next year. Absolutely. Yeah. That's a definite. So, and it's official. The official Raji invite for 2021 is on the records. It's on the books.
Yeah.
And if people are healthy and strong, then the boys can come over as well. They can be your attache 1 and attache 2.
Oh, I know.
So I've lost to them 2 years in a row. I don't want to lose 3 times. All joking aside, where it's just gonna be myself, my partner Rick, and his mother, and then we're basically, after we're done doing our dinner, then we're gonna probably take whatever is left over from the dinner on Thanksgiving Day and go and make our little food packets and take them to whichever homeless people are out on the streets that day. Some homeless people will actually be in shelters, some people won't. So, but we know where they all kind of hang out. So that's what we did last year, and we're going to definitely do it again this year as well. But that's a plan for Thanksgiving. For us, it's a simple thing. But you brought up an interesting thing, not interesting in a good way, but something to acknowledge in reference to the numbers for COVID. You and I have had a conversation about this before, and I've talked about it on this show and other shows also as well. Whatever this virus is, if it's man-made, if it's natural, if it's because of technology, no one really has a clue what's really going on. However, the fact is you can't not discount the deaths. So worldwide, it's 54.7 million cases. I don't know how many people are on the planet, but 54.7 million cases seems like a lot. That's 1.32 million people who've died worldwide from whatever this thing is, wherever it came from, or whatever technology is creating this problem. You're talking about 1,320,000 people who are dead worldwide. It's not quite to the quote unquote, what I call planned genocide. But with Hitler, it was between 6 to 11 million people who died. Mm-hmm. But that took 3 years to get there. We're already there in less than 1 year, part of the way there in less than 1 year. And with the rates that are going up the way that they're going, we're going to probably surpass that. So in the United States, we're talking about 11.1 million people who have it that we know about out of the 330 million people who live here, and 246,000 deaths. That's just the actual bodies, not all the stuff that goes along with it. Like all the people who have mental problems because their family member died, or the coworkers or whoever. And this is something that's probably going to turn into a PTSD kind of thing based off of not being able to see the person that you love and care about and be able to hold their hand as they pass. And you can't even touch the people. Oftentimes, if this is the actual reason, they don't even allow you around them. And then they basically burn the bodies. So That's just in the United States. Unfortunately, we have 2 states that are over 1 million cases, current cases, and Florida is at 885,000 cases currently. So unfortunately for me and you, Raji, we're in a state where we will probably pass or surpass, I should say, and be over 1 million cases that are active before Christmas. So Texas is 1.9 million, California 1.4 million, Florida 885,000, Illinois 575, New York 565. New York actually has retained the same death rate that is the highest, but the death rate on a regular basis is actually just kind of stabilized.
Mm-hmm.
And also the cases have kind of stabilized. So New York has had 33,508 deaths during the whole mess. So I believe that what's going to probably happen is Texas is going to have more deaths, California is going to have more deaths, Florida is going to have more deaths. Those are going to continue to increase. And that's partially due to the governor of New York. He I should say New York City, because that's the majority of where the cases are coming from.
Okay.
The mayor of New York City understands that it's not about making money. If people are too sick to be able to go to work and they're in the hospital dying, then no one can shop. You can't.
You got that
You
right.
can't order the best hotspot device or a piece of candy if you're dead. You can't do that. You can't plan a trip to Sandals Beach Resort if you're dead. I mean, seriously, you can't hop on a bus. You can't take a train ride. You can't hop on an airplane. You can't take a cruise. I mean, that's it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So until they figure out or understand that if they keep the economy, the focus of how things are going to get fixed, then this virus will never go away. Sickness, illness, technology, whatever you want to call it. But if they start to put people first and focus on science and health and well-being, then I truly believe we can focus on the true problem. I talked to you about this before, but it's one of those things where a lot of people, it's hard for them to understand, like, well, the economy.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Taxes. Well, the economy. How about if there's no one to be able to make money? How about if everybody's sick?
Right. Exactly.
Whether you shut the government down or not, people are still going to be sick, so they can't spend money.
Well,
what do you think about that?
Yeah, okay, so, well, of course, everything you said, I mean, it's definitely great points because you're right. I mean, if everyone's sick or dying or sick and dying, I mean, the hell with the economy. Where does that even come into play? So, but, it's just a reflection too of the world that we live in and how money is like a major driving force in this world. And I don't know if you've been keeping up with the reports about the vaccine coming out. Two major pharmaceutical companies, they're like just about there, and I think they're going to be going for approval to the FDA in the next couple weeks. And then they're talking about producing like 1 million doses or so many. I think it's 1 million. I can't remember, but it's a lot of doses by December, but only to be distributed to they're going to do like the healthcare workers and emergency workers. And then I think they were also talking about possibly the elderly first. And then they estimated that by April or so, it should be in mass production. But what I'm curious to see is how eager people are to get the vaccine, like once it comes out. Because, you had brought up this point, and I even heard it on the news the other day. Normally, a vaccine takes about 10 years, okay? And this vaccine has been created in less than a year, and within months. So, it's going to be interesting. Me personally, I don't think I'm running to the doctor to get it right away. I'll kind of wait a little bit and then probably go and get it.
You bring up a good point, actually, and I think it's part of, not to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but let's put this into perspective. A vaccine that was, quote unquote, fast-tracked in order to help someone get elected or reelected into their illegal office, a position of power. That, quote unquote, vaccine that usually takes 10 years got done in less than a year.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to actually do a test on the elderly and the people who are fighting and working the hardest in hospitals and medical professionals first. Let that kind of sink in and marinate for a second.
Yeah. I mean, but to their defense, in their defense, they're going to say, well, we already had our people that we tested it on, and it's 90% effective, or 94, I think they're saying effective. So they're going to say we already did our test on people that volunteered for the testing, so it's good to go. That's what they're going to say.
I understand what you're saying, but by the same token, and it's actually, I think, 95% quote unquote effective based off of one of those tests, because there's 2 or 3 different ones that are ready to actually do the quote unquote fast track. But how many drugs have 95% effectivity, which there are many that went through the entire vetting process of 10 years? And then we see a commercial on TV. If you took Propecia, or you took, I'm using my brain. I apologize because it doesn't work so well. If you took Truvada, if you took this other, if you took a Tripla, if you took the other, if you took Propecia, if you took Alopecia or Shoshana or Akakakakakaka, I'm just saying, whatever the name of the drug is that went through the vetting process, and it's still 10 years later is killing people. Oh, it was fine for the first year. Fine for the second year, fine for the third year, fine for the fourth year, fine for the fifth year. And then people are like, oh, wait a second. Like having a problem.
Yeah.
And that little movement that I made is not to make fun of people who have a disability. It's a matter of saying that it's a man-made drug to fix a natural problem, or it's a man-made drug to fix a man-made problem. And from my opinion, personally, not yours, personally, to control people. That's the way that I look at it. Mm-hmm. So this drug that got fast-tracked, quote unquote, it's a miracle drug. How come we haven't been able to cure cancer or HIV
Yeah, yeah,
Why is that?
that's true.
What do you think about my little insanity part that I was just talking about?
No, well, wait, what do you mean the insanity part? What do you?
What I'm saying, what I
Oh,
said out loud might
oh,
sound insane to most
well,
people.
no, I don't think that's why you threw me off because I don't think that it sounds insane. I mean, it's the reality. These drugs come out, they've been approved, and there's been a number of drugs in the past that have been approved, and they come out into the market, and then they end up finding out that years later it caused this or it caused that. So yeah, you made a really good point. And that's why I think a lot of people are going to be hesitant to take the damn vaccine, you know? It's like, oh my God. I don't know. It's crazy. And then, you hear all these numbers, but when you start to see the individual stories on TV, it really brings it home because today it was this Latino girl or woman on, and she lost five members of her family. She lost her mother, her father, two aunts, and an uncle. And I was like, oh my God. I mean, that's crazy. And she was saying, for those of you all who don't think this is real or are not really taking this serious, it hit my family hard, and it could hit yours hard too. So I think what it is because everyone that gets it doesn't die. And it's like, if can you imagine if everyone that got it died? Oh my God, people would freaking be losing their damn minds. Because then it would be like serious shit. Like people would, oh, we'd be walking around in hazmat suits and wrapped up in plastic. But because a lot of people get it and it's just like light cold symptoms. I think people aren't taking it as serious, even though people have died from it. It's just like, some people get it and they don't have any symptoms. Some people get it and they have a little bit of symptoms. Some people get it, they get sick but they recover, and then there's the ones that get it and end up passing away from it. But I was thinking about that the other day. I said, oh my God, can you imagine if, like, this virus, everyone that got it died from it? You want to see people take shit serious? That we probably wouldn't even want to leave our freaking houses, okay? We'd be like, I think a lot of people would lose their mind because then you're talking like look at the numbers, millions of people dead, as opposed to you know how many that eventually died. So
Okay, so you actually bring up a really good point because my whole reason why I asked you that question was I wanted to postulate some numbers
okay,
based off of 330 million people in the United States. After looking at the averages of two states, Texas and California,
hmm,
and soon, unfortunately for us, Florida, probably within less than 2 weeks, before Christmas, we're going to be over a million. I can guarantee that. Based off of the laissez faire attitude of Ron Dick Satan. I'm sorry, Dick Satan, Ron, can't remember his name. Whatever. It's not worth repeating. And I already was just speaking the way that I feel. But it sounds like our governor has a contract with Satan and doesn't care about people. All he cares about is making money. And I'm not the only person who feels that way. And if you don't like it, Ron Dick Satan, guess what? Start praying. So I'm certain that by or before December 31st, before the end of this year, we will be over 1 million deaths. And we'll probably be over over 1 million cases and over 20,000 deaths because of your laissez faire attitude. And you want people to take cruises and you want people to go from Palm Beach to Naples to Sanibel to wherever. So using the number based off of just 2 states in the United States, 1 million people have cases, I should say, in Texas. The death is 20,000. 1 million plus in California, 18,000. I presume that Florida will be 1 million and over 20,000. So based off of just those alone, we're talking about 20,000 deaths per million cases. So basically, that's the average of 3 states that are at the 1 million point mark. It's a hard number to swallow, but it's just simple math.
Oh,
You can pull it up yourself. It's probably in reverse maybe, but it's a simple math thing. You can pull it up yourself. Coronaviruses, numbers state by state. I suggest that you each all at home pull it up yourselves. Because some people are like, oh, well, the numbers are 0.001 if you're 17 to 29. Oh, and then your numbers are 0.005 if you're 35 to 42. And then your numbers are 0.15 if you're 65 or over. But I mean, you're old, so it's okay, apparently, for you to die because you're not necessary.
God.
That's the way some people think. That's the way some people think.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm being satirical, but actually talking about real, true numbers. So based off of 330 million people in the United States, if we go with that number, 331 times 20,000, and it's not likely that that number will hold true, but that would be the worst case scenario.
Mm-hmm.
If 331 times 20,000, that would be 6,620,000 people dying. Now, the reality of that is, out of those 331 million people who live in the United States, you're going to either get it and know about it, get it and not know about it, take a vaccine. Basically, a vaccine means they're giving it to you. That's a really good idea. So, just like the flu vaccine, you're getting a little dose of the flu, honey. Honey child, you're getting a little dose of the flu. And guess what? The flu vaccines don't have a 90% effectivity either. They have a 50% effectivity. So how did we come up with a 95% effectivity for a virus that's never been around before? I wonder how that happened. Did it just fall from the sky on someone's desk in the Oval Office to make them look like a savior? What do you got to say, Raji? I just had a little rant. What do you got to say?
No, I mean, the shit that goes on in this world, I wouldn't put anything past any of these governments. I mean, you got so much stuff going on. It's almost like.
Are they trying to kill us?
Well, see, I was going to say that, but I stopped myself because I hate to think that way, but
I don't want to think that way either. But it sure fucking seems like it.
You wonder. You wonder.
And then these people who are like, oh, it's a Democrat thing. It's a Republican thing. It's not just in the United States, you fucking stupid cunts. I'm sorry to use that word. I apologize to all the women who like to watch the show. I've never used such crass language before. I meant to say bunt ovens. and then it flew out. So
You fucking
apparently, I'm going to have to do the 18 and over again. I can't help it. But seriously, it's not just a Democrat, Republican, gay, straight, white, black. It's the entire fucking world.
Yeah.
660,000 cases a day. And it keeps going. It's been like this. Started down here, and it's been like this. And now it's starting to go like this. It's starting to go like actually more like this. Like from here to here, and now it's going straight up.
Straight up, yeah. Oh, I like your shirt, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, it's cute. I didn't even notice it until you put your sleeve up. Then I saw like the little pattern. Yeah, it looks like.
Yeah. Ricky bought me that shirt for my birthday. One of the birthdays.
You mean Pretty Ricky? Pretty Ricky.
Yeah. Pretty Ricky bought me this shirt for one of my birthdays, and I only bring it out when I want to look pretty.
Oh, that's
but
nice.
All joking aside,
yeah.
What do you think is the best thing for people that are watching our show to do? I know I'm staying at home. I'm only going out to grocery shop, get gas, pick up prescriptions, take a bike ride. That's it.
Yeah. Me too, pretty much. I mean, I've cut down on a lot of the things I would normally do. You know, as an activist for the community, I was always out and about at different events and doing different things. And that's cut down like to pretty much nil. A lot of the things were canceled. Any of my activism now is mainly online, you know, like via the internet. But yeah, for me, it's out to the store, the grocery store, the gas station, things like that. If I have a doctor's appointment, and you know, I think the little bit of socializing that I have done, because like I meet up with one of my girlfriends every other week or every few weeks, and we go and get something to eat. But usually, you know, it's out on like Hollywood Beach, the boardwalk, so we're outside, and then you know we do the mask thing, and whenever I go out, I wear the mask, and I'm practicing social distancing, and so I'm trying to do my best. I mean, I think that's all we can do is try our best. You know, wear your mask, do your social distancing, cut down on a lot of your activities. That's not to say you can't do anything, but like, you know, taper it off a little bit. That's what I did. I tapered a lot of things off. So yeah. And then we just have to move forward with faith. Like we started the show with that topic. I mean, here we go again, because what this has taught, I think, many people is that at any given time in this life, shit can happen, and it's not so much what happens to you, it's how you deal with what happens to you. Because who expected this? I mean, really, this time a year ago, we would have never even thought we would be dealing with this crap in 2020. Okay, so let's hope for the best. I mean, who knows what the future is going to bring, and I don't know how this vaccine thing's going to play out, but we'll see. We'll see. I just think in the meantime, we all can do our little part by trying to be safe. I mean, like at least try with the mask and the social distancing, and let's hope for the best.
That makes sense, and I appreciate what you're talking about. I do want to acknowledge the fact of some of the media in general, the advertising, to be honest with you, is beyond insulting, and I find it extremely annoying.
Oh, what are you talking about? The Publix commercial?
And like,
you know, honestly though, for those of you all who know what Publix is, it's a supermarket here in the South. I love their holiday commercials. Usually, they have the sweetest commercials. Last year, their commercial was like every time they came on, I wanted to cry because they do these really heartfelt commercials. But this year, I saw the commercial. I'm thinking, okay, because it was like families getting together, and I'm thinking, and like big tables with all these people, and I'm like, really? Is that what you all came up with this year with COVID? But
That
I guess they'll say, well, we're talking about people that live together, but I don't know. I don't know. The tables they were showing had like, 10, 15 people. I don't think all those people live together.
what I'm talking about is I'm sick of seeing commercials for Lysol
Oh,
wipes.
okay.
Considering I can't go somewhere to buy Lysol wipes,
Uh-huh.
I'm sick of seeing them. I can't buy them. Don't tell me I can if they're not available.
If they're not
Like
available.
I'm sick of seeing, 2021 new cars are available for XXX dollars.
Mm.
Go ahead and take a trip to, Saskatchewan or wherever. I mean, I don't even know where Saskatchewan is. I might have made that word up. But I mean, like, go ahead and
One.
and then there's like a whole bunch of things like, go ahead and buy your plane ticket now for this price, but you have to use it within the next 12 months or else you forfeit it. It's like, hold on a second here. So, like, you're trying to get money from people and you offer something as a discount to travel during the most dangerous time just to get $99? Like, what's really important here? That's the part that I'm frustrated with. Like, all these commercials about shit, like everything's normal. It's not normal.
Yeah.
Everything's fucked up. So I'm sick of seeing the pretty girl running around in her jeans and just like, oh, it's Christmas. Oh, it's Thanksgiving. Let's just have a party. Like, I'm so sick of this advertising that is being forced upon us on a regular basis. Like, everything is normal. It's not fucking normal.
Yeah.
What we're going through right now is not normal. So how about we put away buying a brand new car? How about we put away taking a cruise? How about we put away getting the perfect pair of jewelry or perfect pair of jeans and buying shit for Christmas and buying shit for Thanksgiving? How about we focus on doing something that actually matters right now? Like, how important is that watch from Gucci? If 6 months from now you're dead, or I should say, barely breathing in a hospital room on a respirator with your family looking through a plexiglass fucking window, but you got your Gucci watch on, you're good.
Well, all I know is Amazon better keep working because I need my makeup, honey. I gotta if I can't go outside, I gotta order it online. I'm playing. Yeah, all joking aside, let me.
All joking aside, what do you think about this ad bombardment of shit where they're trying to force products on people right now?
It's, you know what? It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. We live, again, like I had said earlier, money and the economy drives this world. So COVID or no COVID, these commercials, they're going to run their commercials because they know people are still going to buy, and so and especially with Amazon, you don't have to even leave your house to buy now. You can just go online and buy a lot of the stuff. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me, and I think they could be a little more sensitive with the advertising to the times, to what's going on now. They could maybe be a little more sensitive with it. I did see a commercial, and I can't remember what it was, but God, I thought to myself, now they're being sensitive to COVID because the way they did the commercial, they were like, encouraging social distancing, but they were still selling their product. I forgot what it was, and it was done really sweet. The whole commercial really was nice, and I thought to myself, okay, those advertisers, they really were, I think, conscientious about what's going on in the world and still finding a way to advertise, but being conscientious about COVID. Yeah.
No, that makes perfect sense, and actually, that's part of what we do with our show
Mhm.
together. Is we try to help local people make money, but also keep people safe. We want to help support local businesses. We want to
Exactly.
we're hiring people to work for us, and it's not just in the United States, all around the world, no matter what language you speak. We want to be able to get this little show, our little show. It's like a little drop in the bucket, so to speak, but our little drop in that bucket here might turn into a gigantic ripple effect across the world. Oh,
Let me tell you something. A hurricane, a 5 category hurricane. Actually, there's one hitting
Honduras.
America right now. Starts in Africa, off the coast of Africa, with a little swirl, just a little swirl, and that thing with the heat and the water, it creates this big thing. So you say drop in the bucket, but honey, we could be really making some ripples, honey.
I think we're making more than ripples, apparently.
Hey.
So I think we're definitely making more than ripples. And I do want to tell people about my Southern Exposure Media Group LLC. You at home who are watching the show could be part of our network. It's a brand new network. We started it out from scratch, from the ground up. We Go LLC. I should say, I'm sorry, I got a little confused. That's My Southern Exposure Media Group LLC.com. Oh, goodness gracious. This is what happens when you fall off your roof and land on your head. You get your words mixed up. And that's not because of me drinking. It's because of me falling on my head and bleeding for a day. Anyways, so go to My Southern Exposure Media Group LLC.com and you can see the opportunities that are available. We, myself and Raji, really truly care about the LGBTQ community. So that's the very first little box you can click on. You can get into that box, that little box down there. You can get into the little Raji box. You can get into that Raji box because she and me are part of our LGBTQ programming, and we're going to be adding a lot more shortly and soon. But in addition to that, home gardening, cooking, home handyman, arts and crafts. We have so many things that we're going to be adding, I should say, that My Southern Exposure Media Group LLC.com will be adding so that you at home, if you want to subscribe, you can, and you would be helping people out like me and Raji and everybody else who creates original content from the safety of their own home so they don't have to put themselves in danger, but share their unique personal perspective on whatever it is that they care about or that they're really good at doing. And if they're not good at what they're doing, guess what? You don't have to watch it. Just like the TV shows. Just leave your TV off if you don't like what's on, or just click a little button. But I hope and pray that you want to help and support people like myself and Raji and everybody connected to us, because we've got a lot of really good things in store for you. Children programming also as well. So we've got a lot in store for you. But you brought up something that was really interesting. You made a comment, and it made my brain spin for a second. And I might not remember what it is at this exact moment. So I'm going to have to push it off to the side because I'm going to bring up something else instead. What do you think about the current quote unquote president not conceding. We don't have to say the name. It's never been done. And with such a big gap, what do you think about the political implications? And then there's also racial implications also as well, because there was supposedly a quote unquote million-man march for the white supremacists, basically, that turned into like 10,000 or 15,000 people. What do you think about conceding, not conceding? Because this is a precedent. It's never happened before. Even though you've already been beaten with popular votes and you've already been beaten with electoral votes, and then you're going to basically give the big middle finger and say, let me have a little motorcade with 15,000 people who are basically sycophants.
Okay, so, well, hey, we've never had a president like Trump before. This is definitely something that's gone down in history. We've never had, at least in my lifetime, I've never seen anything like this. The politics so volatile. President Trump, he isn't even a politician. He was a businessman that threw his hat in the ring and ended up winning. A reality TV star. He had his own reality TV show, which actually I think he should have stayed in that lane. But like, him being president, that really brought his true colors out. Oh my God. I didn't know that he was all that he turned out to be until he became president. But anyway, yeah, so I say all of that to say this doesn't surprise me. He's been doing like stuff that we haven't seen before in politics since the beginning of his presidency. So this doesn't surprise me. Now, I think the implications politically, it could be a serious thing because you don't want to jeopardize our democracy. And you do that when you start to basically, I would say, I'm looking for the word I want to use and I'm trying to think of it. Negate, for lack of a better word, negate our electoral system that everyone is saying worked this time. And they, believe me, they did the recounting, they did all of that. And so, when you're
I'm gonna say it because I think that I might know the right word.
Mm-hmm.
Was it usurp?
Huh?
Usurp.
No, I wasn't.
Circumvene.
Yes. Yeah, that's more it. Yeah. That's exactly it. Yeah. Because I couldn't think of the word, but yeah, that's what I mean. Like, and so we have to watch this carefully as American citizens and just as Americans, period. And the bottom line is on January 21st, he's getting the hell out of the White House. And if he doesn't, our democracy, hopefully will work and they'll be going in and taking him out. Taking him out. Because I heard that if you're not leaving that day, then you're considered a trespasser in the White House. So I doubt he'll let it get to that, but yeah. The thing is, I've been saying this from the beginning. When he lost, I said he's gonna go out kicking and screaming. He's not gonna go out like in an elegant, classy type of way. So,
what do you think about all the people who just got elected in positions of power this election round for LGBTQ? This was the first time we've ever had so much support and representation for our community. I think there's a total of 12, if I remember correctly.
We even have, yeah, there's a senator, black
Yes.
LGBTQ. I'm not sure if she's lesbian or trans, but I know she's a African American, and she's also an Episcopal minister. I think it's great. I think it's great because see, this is the thing. We need to have people in positions of power that look like America. So that includes white people, that includes black people, that includes other people of color, that includes LGBTQ people. It needs to reflect what America truly is today. The America of yesterday is no longer. If you look around, America is a diverse, eclectic country with people of all walks of life. And so I think that it's a good thing when you have representation from the different segments of the population. It just makes it makes for balance, and also for the different populations to have a voice, a voice at the table, for lack of a better phrase.
What do you think about Kim Nung? She's brand new person. Well, not brand new, but she is over 30 years of experience
Yeah,
working in the baseball industry.
yeah,
And she is the very first person of color that's a female. Those two have to go together. That is a general manager of a baseball team. And I really don't give a flying fuck about sports, generally speaking. But seeing this multicultural woman being the very first general manager of a major baseball league, thank you, Jeter. I don't know how to say his name, down here in Miami. Is it Jeter?
yeah.
I don't know the correct way to say it, but at least he did the right thing. And he acknowledged the fact of breaking through that glass ceiling for women,
Yeah.
but also someone who is multicultural as well. What do you think about that? Because I'm curious to hear about your perspective.
Well, I think it's great. I mean, 30 years, that's a long time. So she's definitely put her work in. And I saw her on an interview this morning on Good Morning America, and she was saying she'd applied for that position, I think about 10 times. So that's a testament to not giving up. And I don't know if it was the same position for the same team, but I think she said she applied for that type of position throughout the league, and she was turned down all those times. And so, it's a testament to not giving up, to holding on to your dreams and being steadfast, and working, working hard and just moving forward. And so I congratulations to her. I think that's wonderful. I think it's wonderful. You know, whether we want to admit it or not, this country in many ways is misogynistic still. And even though, we're the land of the free and the home of the brave, I mean, I just can't get over the fact that we haven't had a woman president yet when you look at all the countries around the world that already have had that. Countries that we would look at as, oh, third world, not progressive like us, but yet and still, we can't bring ourselves to have that. And I mean, Jamaica, Trinidad, Liberia, Pakistan, India, Germany, the United Kingdom. I mean, the list goes on and on. And um, yeah, so that surprises me. So when I see women getting, positions like she did, it just makes me feel good because I think it's breaking through or helping to break through the misogyny that still exists in this country.
Well, I'm going to bring up something else that's good too. We also had the very first space launch here in Florida as well that is going to start to do it on a regular basis. Apparently, I never knew this before. We always used to have to go to Mother Russia to go to the International Space Station. So this is I'm not a big fan of Elon Musk or SpaceX. However, I can't discount the fact that there's progress being made. So kudos to the progress being made. I don't like you, Elon Musk, just to make that clear, me personally. But it was the very first trip that's ever been made in the United States where we can send people directly to the International Space Station on our own, independently. And it was a conglomeration or a collaboration or whatever word you want to use, partnership, whatever, between a privately owned company and also with government money as well, that from now on we'll be able to send people back and forth on a regular basis on our own without any assistance from Mother Russia. So from this point, right, Mother Russia. You know, if you say it really quickly, it sounds like motherfucker. But so on that space trip that just left yesterday, there was a female who happened to be a female of Asian descent, multicultural. Also, I think her name is Shannon Walker. Then also Victor Glover,
African American,
and Mike Hopkins, and Sochi
Japanese,
Naguchi. So you had a white guy, an Asian guy, a black guy, and a person of color that's a female. I think that is a perfect representation of what our current climate is, that it's an even playing field for everybody out there. And there are so many people that are so happy to be able to even do that. We'll talk about sports car racing in a moment, but I want to get your opinion about what you think about the United States being able to actually send our own astronauts that are selected up to the space station and not being connected to Russia any longer. What do you think about that?
Well, you know, since the space program has existed, I mean, remember we had a bustling space program for many years, and then it ended. And then after that, that's when astronauts had to start going over to Russia. But remember, I mean, here in Florida, Cape Canaveral there was always stuff going on with our space program. I forgot what year it stopped, but anyway, I think it's a good thing that, you know, we're able to do it from America again. But, you know, I was going to say, since the beginning, we've always collaborated with other countries to go into space. You know, different astronauts from other countries, and vice versa, American astronauts going in to space with other space programs. So but I think it's good that we're able to launch from America again. Yeah, I think it's a great thing. You know, the reality is, though, when you leave this Earth and you're out there in the ethers, honey, I can't even imagine. Doesn't matter, I think, with those astronauts where they were from when they were on planet Earth. Now it's like a unified human, you know, experience out in space, and they have to like work hard to make sure they get their asses back here safely. Because, you know, think about it. Going out there into space is no joke. That's you know, that's pretty. And, you know, I was thinking, I don't even know if I would do it. Like, if they started doing it where you could go like as a you know, like you would do it, you would go. Yeah.
Absolutely, I would.
Yeah, I don't know.
Absolutely.
I think I'll be floating around enough when I leave this body. So I'm like, I'm good. I'll stay put until it's time for me to leave this body and go into spirit.
Just let those tits lift you up,
Oh
and
my
then you can float anywhere with those big old boobies.
Hi,
That's for sure.
you're amazing.
Oh, stop it. But you know what? The interesting thing that you just said is part of what we've talked about privately before, and also part of, I think, what the people who like to watch our show like to see the candid nature of our conversations is that it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, if you're gay or straight, if you're black or you're white, if you pray to Buddha or if you pray to Jesus or if you pray to whoever, Allah, whatever. It doesn't make any difference. It's part of the reason why people like to watch our show, I think, is that we're supportive. We want to open our arms and embrace everything, and that we understand that our little tiny little speck of dust that we're on, and it is like a little speck of dust, it really is it's a speck of dust to some, and then to others it's the entire universe. Like for people that understand that what you are or who I am, I should say it this way. People who understand that I'm just me. I'm just one person on this planet. And it's just what I have in my mind is just me. And I really don't matter in the big picture, even though it's important to me that I do what makes me feel good and what I do can possibly help other people. I'm just a little tiny nothing
Well,
in the big picture of things.
well, I think, yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but I think it's more like you're a piece of this big puzzle called existence. And if one of the pieces are out of order in a puzzle, the puzzle isn't complete. So we're all little pieces that make up this thing that we call our existence. And each piece plays an important role. Yeah, so I think you're just trying to come off in the sense of not letting your ego. Hold on one. Oh, someone's knocking at my door.
Are you getting a pizza delivery? I'll talk for a minute.
Hold on one. Okay, great. I don't know what's going on. Hold on a minute. Sorry, ladies.
All right, put your thing on mute for a second. All right, so I want to redirect for a moment to the television series that I'm watching called Westwood. Or I should say Westworld is the correct word. Westworld. It kind of touches base with what we've been discussing this entire time of the show. I also want to bring up an old one called Pleasantville. Pleasantville is also kind of similar as well. I just mistakenly came across Pleasantville last night, and after watching Westworld for the last 9 episodes, I see a correlation between the two. And I think it's interesting to think about it, to acknowledge what we can do and to hope and create and wish that you want things to be better, and not let anyone or anything dissuade you from trying to do better, trying to do something different. Just because they don't understand it, they might judge you. They might think that, well, you've been doing this for 5 years and it's not working. You might be doing this for 10 years and it's not working. As long as it makes you happy, you go ahead and fucking do it. You don't have to answer to anybody except yourself or whatever God that you believe in. Just because I believe in Jesus Christ doesn't mean that you have to. You can have your own religion. You can believe in something else. You could be agnostic. You could be, I don't like to even use the word, but you could believe in Satan. But whatever that being is that you believe in, I personally believe that you need to do and believe what you're doing, as long as you're not harming and hurting somebody else on purpose, then you keep doing what you're doing. If you are purposefully hurting somebody else, then you're doing something wrong. You're not supposed to hurt other people. Violence is not good. It's not going to help fix any problem. It might make you feel better because you have like a way to let things out that are negative. But by the same token, after you do that, it's not going to help you.
Honey, the FBI was knocking at my door because of this damn show. The FBI's coming to get me. Oh my goodness. They're like, you are talking against this government. We're going to arrest. No, I'm playing. I'm joking. Now, I told them this is not a Burger King drive-thru, honey. You can't come for these without calling and making an appointment. No, actually, someone's blocking our driveway into the complex, and he thought it was someone that was visiting me, so he wanted to make sure that it wasn't before he called to get it towed. So anyway.
Well, that was nice.
Yeah.
That was nice. I was just doing a little spiel, kind of covering what we just discussed, but I'm kind of curious about who is in your place right now.
We're real. Who's in my place?
Who's in your place right now? Who you got hidden underneath your bed that they're coming and knocking your door to see who's parked?
Let me tell you, this cute Honduranian guy came over last night, and I have him tied up in my closet. Shh, don't tell anyone. Let me stop. To be real.
Oh, good Lord.
To be real.
So to get back on topic, I also want to bring up the fact of the very first person of color that actually owns their own brand of on NASCAR. Brand new brand. Oh goodness gracious! I just had it and I forget his name. There was the very first black driver, person of color, back in 1990. Very first person was Wendell Scott as a NASCAR driver. First person of color.
Wonderful.
So clearly that's good. But now the very first person who owns a company that's NASCAR connected is our buddy. I can't remember his name. Give me a second. It's our buddy. I can't remember his name. The new guy. Shaquille O'Neal. No, Michael Jordan. So Michael Jordan is the very first NASCAR principal owner ever. Is he delivering a pizza in the rear?
There's a lot going on, honey. I'm just in the middle of everything. I actually said to the guy that opened the door, I said, "Where's my pizza?" And he started cracking up. I was like, "I'm hungry, honey. Give me a pizza." No, but anyway. Yeah.
What do you think about Michael Jordan being the first person of color being a NASCAR owner, and I'm gonna have to run to the bathroom while you talk because I'm about ready to pee my pants. So you go ahead and talk. I'm just being real. So
Yeah, because to be real, got to be real to be real. So, well, basically, you know, to me, based on the history of this country, 350 years of slavery, another 100 years of about 100 years of Jim Crow laws, any progressiveness when it comes to someone of color, I think is an absolutely wonderful thing. I think it's absolutely wonderful. It's another little step towards equality and equity for all. And I always have been someone that has kind of been an optimistic person. I try to look at the glass half full, and I just think that it feels a lot better to have faith and hope than to be hopeless. It really does. To me, it feels a lot better to have faith and hope than to be hopeless. And so, when these things happen, a person of color gets a position, moves up. I personally think it's a great thing. It's a little step in the right direction, the direction of equality and equity. So yeah, that's my take on it, and I think it needs to be more of that. All types of people of color, LGBTQ, transsexual.
that brings up a good point. That brings up a really good point. So, in reference to the 50-50 split for the House and 50-50 split for the Senate as well, we have a really big election coming up in Atlanta where we could switch the Senate to Democratic, quote unquote, as opposed to it being in Republican power. And if we have the House in Democrat, the Senate in Democrat, or I should say Senate, Congress, I can't remember which one, Senate in Democrat, and then we have a Democratic presidency. I mean, that sounds good for Democrats, but I'm not a big person with Democrat, Republican. That's not my thing. I'm an independent. I've always been an independent voter. And with this last election, we had this new quote unquote push with some new parties coming out. Jo Jorgensen or Joel, I can't remember her name. I think it was Jo Jorgensen. I can't remember her name, but she was getting like 60 to 70,000 votes per state. Like 60 to 70,000 people is not a lot, but it is a lot.
It is, yeah.
I mean, if that's for every state, so what do you think about just totally getting the Electoral College completely removed? Because I really want to do whatever I can to completely remove that. Whatever's in my power, I would like to completely remove the Electoral College. And I know I can see your brain thinking and see your legs twitching, because it's one of those things where it's supposed to even things out, but we talked about it the last show in part.
Right.
But the Electoral College, I don't think is necessary at this point. I think it should just be popular vote. That's it. So what do you think about the Electoral College, if it's necessary or not?
Let me ask you a question. If the Electoral College didn't exist this election, would Biden have won? He still had the popular vote.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
But that doesn't even matter. I mean,
no, it doesn't matter. I was just curious.
Like whether Biden would have had enough popular vote or not doesn't matter to me. I mean, it's convenient because I believe in Biden,
Yeah.
but it's one of those things. I don't care if it's Joe Schmo from Kokomo.
Yeah. No, I was just curious as to that. But no, I think we had talked about this the last show, and the Electoral College is definitely a somewhat outdated. I think if it's not going to be completely gotten rid of, then at least it needs to be tweaked. Something needs to be done. It needs to be looked at because you're right. Like, why wouldn't just the popular vote be enough, to elect someone into presidency? And I know, the argument is again, the electoral college was put into play so that there's an equal playing field with the different states, but I don't know. I don't know. Because anyway, even smaller states have less electoral votes. It's the bigger states that have more anyway. So it's like, yeah, yeah, I think the popular vote would be enough at this point.
I mean, if we can vote Kelly Clarkson to be the star of American Idol,
Uh-huh.
and every other person since within less than 15 minutes,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
why is it so difficult?
yeah, you're
Let's
right.
just get it done. Let's just go with popular vote. And if you're the person, you're registered to vote, you log in, you have just like I had mentioned this to you the last time, just like we're doing our show. Like, I'm Joseph Manuel Alvello. I voted for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Click. Done. It's received. Once that goes into the system, it's done. I don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah,
I don't have to go anywhere. It's me, facial recognition software. It's not like they're not going to use it. They've already seen it. Or for you, I'm sure they've seen your image many more times. It's like, let's just make it simple.
yeah,
Why do we have to make it so difficult? And the reason why people don't want to vote is because they don't believe in the voting process, so they don't even want to even bother to vote.
yeah.
But in general, what do you think about the voter turnout? This time has been the most that people voted, and that's during our current situation with COVID. And then I'm going to end it with that because I can see you're rubbing your forehead. Like you got to go ahead and pay attention to the pizza boy.
No, you're funny. Oh God, you bring up pizza again. I'm hungry. Okay, so no, I think it certainly says a lot for Biden to be in the history of our country to be able to get the most votes ever. It speaks to how crucial this election was for a lot of Americans and how much they wanted Trump out. I mean, that's the reality of it. And so, but of course, the Trump supporters say that that's a proof that there's electoral fraud because really, they've all more people voted in the history of the country for Biden. That's what this guy was saying on TV. It's like, really, for Biden? He got the most votes than any other president in the history of this country. And I think that Trump had a lot to do with that because of the fact that so many people wanted Trump out that they came out to vote for Biden. That's what I think happened. And even if they didn't care for Biden or they didn't think he was the greatest, he was the better choice.
Clearly, I agree with you. That's for sure. So what I want to close with is a special thank you to our over 72,000 viewers. I want to remind everybody to visit www.wegollc.com if you're interested to help people in my and Raji's immediate community. You can. The food drive is going on. It'll help hopefully at least 20 families. So go visit the website. If you're a person in need, please contact the website and look how to communicate that way. If you're interested in donating, you can also do that as well. They also offer a food drive for Christmas and also a toy drive as well. They're a little bit unique because what they do from WeGo Cares is that they bring the food directly to the people's homes, and it's completely confidential. No one knows who they are except for the people that are necessary. They drop off whatever's necessary, and everything's good to go for them. Because for some people, it's very difficult to ask for help, and for some people who donate, it's much easier for them to not be connected to the situation. So it's a good. It's a win-win. I also want to let people know about my Southern Exposure Media Group LLC.com. You can go and visit the website. That would be for content like this crazy Puerto Rican with the headphones in, and also that beautiful Raven
trans
Vixen.
woman of color.
And we got a lot more surprises set in order. So it's not just going to be LGBTQ. There's going to be a lot of options on my Southern Exposure Media Group LLC.com. So if you want to learn how to cook, if you don't already know how to, some people will make it more entertaining and might make it more easier for you to be able to cook at home. Gardening, DIY, home handyman repair, so many other options that are out there, as well as children's books that'll be read, kind of like a children's corner with a cute little grandma with her Afghan quilt covered over her legs. We got a lot of surprises in store for you. So don't forget to visit that website, and content will be added on a regular basis. So I want to thank everybody at home for watching our 7th episode of season number 2. And I want to say thank you very much, Raji Narayan Singh. And I'm going to leave it up to you to do your thank yous and a bid adieu. But thank you very much for watching, everybody at home. Raji?
Yes. Thank you so much, everyone. We had another great show, I think. A lot of thought-provoking and entertaining conversation. And, if you have any topic you want us to talk about, leave a comment. We're happy. We're open to talking about different things. So by all means, leave a comment and let us know what you want to hear us talk about. And on that note, I want to wish everyone a fantastic week, and I'll see you next week. Southern Exposure, and wishing you love, happiness, peace, good health, prosperity, and many wonderful blessings.